Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Realness with three S's. We are here to take on the finale of MTV's The Challenge, Season 35, Total Madness, Episode 16. I'm here with my lovely co-host. We have up top today, we have Miss Fanta. Say hello, Fanta.
I'm on top. Hi.
Girl. And we also have Michelle.
Hello.
Hello. So overall thoughts, ladies. What did you think of the finale?
Oh, mixed feelings, my friends. There's some parts that I really liked, but overall I felt like it was a little bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, I agree. If I had to pick one word for the episode, I would pick underwhelming and just like unsatisfying.
100%.
Yeah,
I'm totally in agreement with both of you. I was just kind of like, womp womp. And like I remember last week you were saying like, yeah, it's only just gonna be one episode. And I'm like, why? Like the finale like came long, like, you know, I was like, and then it was just like zippity zip zip up bump. And I was like, oh, okay, it's done. Like they didn't even know it was done. Like when they got like, they were like, that's it?
Yeah.
It's over?
Yeah, not a good sign.
Not a good sign. So 9 of them are competing. Do we know why, like when that happened, that it became
yeah. I don't remember what happened. Why was there an extra guy?
like I remember when it was uneven, but like I remember thinking that why are they both having a double elimination when the girls don't need to lose a player? I remember thinking that.
Yeah.
But like I thought they would have evened it out or something. I don't know why they left it at
I really don't understand that. Because there should have been the same amount, like regardless, if there were the same amount of eliminations, like no one left. So I don't know. There must have been a reason or something.
Well, I think the girls had a double elimination, and then I think there was like a guy-girl elimination the next week.
There was a double guy elimination too, though.
I don't know, but I was just kind of like, I didn't understand why it had to be that way. I thought that they should have fixed that or changed the structure of it somehow. Like it didn't make sense to me that it was uneven.
Yeah. I think maybe they just got lazy with the structure in the end, to be completely honest with you. Like there's a couple of things where you're just kind of like the final just did not feel fleshed out like it usually is. Usually like there's just like, okay, you like day 1, day 2, and like day 1 you've got this part and then this part and this part, and then you're eating fermented slugs and then this, and you're like, it's really like quite grueling. But it's like they put 2 days into one final, and then the second day was like a part and a half. Like both days were like a part and a half each. Like it just wasn't fully fleshed out. So I feel like if they got to that 9, like the 9 people, they were just like, meh, whatever.
It doesn't really matter. It's probably the same guy that thought up the bunker twist. He just didn't have fully fleshed out ideas. He probably thought of the Red Skull twist too. It was like, they're all almost good. They're all missing just a little bit of something.
Yeah.
But I was excited to see all of them giving their high 10s and kind of excited about getting to the final. I was happy for them. Were you guys caring?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time that for like all the women, it's all their first times being at a final. So I thought that was cool. While it was very evident as it went on that like, oh yeah, none of these people have done a final before. None of these women have done a final before. Mm-hmm. But like it was cool to have different people. Like it was cool that Kyle got that opportunity. Like it was cool for them to get that opportunity, you know. So I was pretty excited for them.
Johnny Bananas going in for his 7th win now because he wants to solidify himself as the best challenge competitor that there ever is and ever shall be.
Like the best or the person who's just done the most.
Fighting back the most and won most?
Done and won the most, like, by proxy. Just, like, as a law of averages.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the highest percentage of win.
Well, yeah, you'd have to, like, not play or play less, of course. Jordan has a pretty high win.
Yeah, to be like Jordan. But it's also been, how many seasons has he? It's been 6 or 7 seasons that he hasn't. So this was the part that I started to I was like, wait a second.
We're like 3 minutes in. What do you mean?
Well, kind of like I started to like get a feeling like, because when they started to do like his confessionals, maybe I'm too early. Maybe you're right. I'll wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Well, actually, I wanted to clarify something with you, Michelle. So I believe I found the Instagram Live or whatever that you were speaking about. Mm-hmm. And so I listened to it, and he does say, talk about the hall brawl, but he said, we all know that the final elimination is going to be hall brawl. So he did say that in that way at one point, a little bit later on to the end of it. So maybe there's some fishy things going on, but also like maybe it's kind of like a known fact that like if you haven't had a hall brawl yet, like you're most likely going to have one right before like the final elimination. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back maybe and take a look and see if that's like a thing or if he just said that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But so we see Corey. I know a lot of people are kind of getting on me being like, Corey's so nice, Nelson's amazing, all this stuff. And I do see that they're showing a softer side of both of them, but I'm a little bit over seeing Corey crying over the letters and over what Nelson did. And like, I'm kind of bored by it.
And also just like kissing the photo of his daughter, like every single episode. I mean, I get it. But like also it didn't feel like it was epic the way Nelson did what he did, but then Corey like being like, I'm so thankful. It just didn't feel super authentic to me. I'm not saying he was faking, but like I just wasn't feeling it the way I was when Nelson was like going through these motions last week. I was like, but with Corey, I'm like, yeah, people do things for you all the time, and I don't know. It didn't like. I just wasn't like moved as much as I was last week, but I still was like, good for you, man. Like, give it your all, you know?
You, Fanta, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I like as soon as it gets to the point where Corey's like sitting in his bunk and he pulls the pictures out, I'm out of there. Don't like you're right, Michelle. Like it's not genuine. And it's just kind of like forcing itself like into the storyline. So it's just kind of like, it's kind of around for way too long. We know the tricks of the challenge trade.
Absolutely. And it totally seems disingenuous. It totally seems he's doing it for show. And like maybe that's what I was picking up earlier on in the season when I was like, the photos come out. And, you know, I think that he is trying to paint a new narrative, which is fine. I get it. You're on a TV show. You know, you are on Team Mom. You do have a child now, which is different than maybe the last few times you've competed. I get that. But it does seem to just like be rubbing it in our face, you know, that like, I'm a good dad. I'm doing this for my child. And it's like, maybe you are, but like if you doth protest too much, it seems a little sketchy at that point, a little sus, as you would say, Michelle. Mm-hmm. So they go to the bar. This is your last bar shot there, Fanta. And maybe the last boot shot as well. Would you be doing a boot shot?
Oh my God. Okay. This sent me back to Vancouver 2010 Olympics when I did my first boot shot as a 20-year-old. That's disgusting.
That was the most disgusting thing I'd ever seen. I was like, what? Ew. Secondly, can I just say, after last week, when we were talking about I mentioned the whole thing about Jenny and Bananas having a thing and it being hidden, and then in the comments someone wrote about Kyle and Melissa and all that, and I was like, ooh. So this episode I was like looking for it, and oh my God, there were so many moments, especially at this bar with Melissa and Kyle when they're like dreamily looking to each other's eyes and they're like, I couldn't be that without you or whatever, and he's like, yeah, you're my best friend, I love you, and then they like kind of kiss and hug, like it's like this weird.
I remember that, but they're like obviously being very like strategic about it. But when you know,
friend zone,
feel the tension there. Like I was like, oh, they're for sure hooking up. And there's moments too with Jenny and Bananas, but like with Melissa and Kyle, it was just really obvious in that bar scene. I was like, okay, the rumors are true, man.
I definitely noticed the same thing. I also noticed Melissa doing a little grinding in a line. I think it was with Casey, like a little like line grind going on. It's quite,
Yeah.
what's the word I want?
Action.
Melissa's always been very like fun and like just kind of wants to have a good time.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of weird because like in other seasons she always has something she's doing in that regard. And I thought it was kind of weird that this season like she wasn't doing any of that, but she probably just was, just not shown, you know?
It's just not on camera. She was doing it a few times, but not as often as in the past, for sure.
Which I feel very cheated about. Like, I mean, come on. You want to see all of it. You want to see all of the hookups. Like, it just kind of makes me feel a bit slighted knowing that for future, like if you're watching the challenge, you're only seeing like 1 out of or 2 out of every like 6 potential hookups that are happening.
Yeah, but also, I mean, they're gonna save some stuff for the shit they should have shown, which they're doing on the 29th. So I'm assuming like, you know, they do the shit they should have shown. They always do that like episode where the things they should have shown, and it's like.
But is that going to be part of the reunion, or is that going to be a separate?
No, it's usually separate. It's like a reunion, and then there's one or the other. I forget what order they come in, but I saw a thing being the 29th is that. And they'll rehash stuff, but they'll also show you things you didn't know about, like living situation there. And there's always 1 or 2 like little hookups that we didn't know about. But so I wonder if they're going to show it. But I would bet that they're obviously not going to show Bananas doing anything wrong.
No way. No.
Anyway.
And if they don't, Michelle, I'm going to write a letter.
To who?
To MTV.
MTV. Just tweet them, actually. Like, everybody answers tweets over letters and emails.
Yeah.
Tweet at them. So why are you guys so anti-boot shots? I think I would do one with the group.
Because I'm not 20 years of age any longer.
Because I don't want to drink out of somebody's boot.
But it's your own boot.
I don't want to drink out of my own boot.
Yeah, when you have this didn't occur to me. Obviously, I don't remember that from that time, but I was like watching them do their boot shots, and I was like, you have to put your boot back on. It's going to be a wet boot. It's like having wet socks, but.
At first, I thought maybe they had a shot in the boot, and then I was like, oh, no.
You just dump it right in. I'm just, I've got the expertise, so you dump it right in, take it back.
I've never done a boot shot. I've done a lot of things in my life, and boot shot.
I don't know if I'm right. I'm going to look this up right now. Sorry, my bad.
Do you have a video of you doing your boot shot?
Oh my God.
Find it.
It'll be like my like Motorola Razor. Or something.
Extra slim. What I loved though about this was we got our classic Johnny Bananas speech. That's something that hasn't gone on in like a few seasons, and like that was like standard. Is like, you know, he always says those cheesy little speeches. You don't care for it, Michelle?
No, I can see that. I mean, he has done them usually the first episode. He didn't do one this season, or they didn't show it maybe. I just think, I don't know. It's all of this, like, it's so ego driven for, like, in my opinion. Like, I know that he's a staple of the challenge, and I don't hate him, and I was in a way rooting for him, and he is very like, you know, he cares. But at the same time, like, his ego is just so extreme, and like he needs to like make these speeches to validate his like just like power as the goat, you know?
Well, okay, I agree, and I see where you're coming from, but also though, this is his role in the challenge. Like, he plays the villain or the goat or the mastermind or whatever it is. Like, that's who his character is, whether it is him or not. But like,
yeah, but I just believe that this is the way he is in life, you know?
I was watching another live of some sort, and he said that he has grown up on the challenge. Like, he's gone through, like, you know, the last almost 20 years of his life has been through the challenge. And so it actually is him, because like he is being himself. It's like, it's so intertwined that there's no stepping outside of it, because it's its entire life, you know? So
yeah, it's true. It is his entire life. It's pretty intense. And if it's going to be in your entire life, then you might as well be the best. So he's got to do what he's got to do. And I do understand the intensity.
Yes. However, I do miss, I feel like the house, or bunker, obviously in this case, gets christened with that Johnny speech. So I do feel like we missed that along with a pool, pool this season. So.
I mean, I think next season they're gonna have the pool and okay, do you think Johnny's gonna come? Well, I guess we can talk about this at the end, but come back or not? He's done? Gonna retire after
he's
20?
not done, but maybe I could see him taking a season off for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Taking a season off
but maybe not because of quarantine. Now, I think that people are going to be pretty hot and heavy to jump back into a challenge after having all that time stuck indoors.
And I wonder if they'll do an even longer things we didn't see episode, because like they supposed to have tons of footage that they could use that could like create another at least hour-long episode, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. If there's more content, there's more content. If you have to just stretch it out.
Release the D tapes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. Maybe like I'd even buy it for like $5. $5 US.
I would pay $5 USD.
Me too. So what did you think about Bailey saying that Mel doesn't want to actually do the final? Like she just wants to say that she got to the final, but she doesn't actually want to be there.
I mean, that was some pretty sweet foreshadowing. And yeah, I 100% agree. I was like, yeah, I'm not saying she doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want, sure she would love to be good at the final and try to do well, but like if she actually was there to win, then she would have been like training and working towards it and fueling herself so that she could. Like she knew Jenny was there the whole time. She never actively tried to get her out or anything. So it's like if you always knew these people were stronger than you and you weren't trying to get them out, then you weren't playing the game to win. You're playing it just to get as far as you can and like be on TV and then whatever, you know?
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. But yeah, also it's funny for Bailey to say that.
Yeah. Yes, but like I think Bailey really like has the desire to win a bit more maybe.
Well, yeah, I would say out of all of them, I think that's a good call. I think it would be basically in that order. So Mel would be least desiring to win, then Bailey, then Casey, and then Jenny, I think is the order of, you know, who wants to win it more. Fessy getting emotional with Casey, about the possibility of winning and what he could do with his family. I was moved.
I think at first I was like, oh my God, and then I realized, oh, this is like your drunk spiel. Like he was like drunk.
He was a little drunk.
But I feel for the guy. I just find it so, like, he just beats himself up so much.
Yeah.
Which makes me really sad. I'm like, dude, like, you can do this for, like, as long as you want to, and, like, you're a good competitor. Like, you don't have to, like, keep, like, hanging on to this NFL, like, not making the draft. Because if you made the draft, you probably would have gotten CTE anyway. So, like...
Sorry, for us people that don't know what you're talking about.
That's like when you get a lot of concussions and it like messes up your brain, and then you just like basically are not the same person that you were. If you would like to know more, please feel free to watch the Aaron Hernandez documentary on Netflix that covers a bit of it.
Speaking of that though, I haven't found it yet, but there's also he had a lover apparently in prison as well that came out with a story.
Yes. I mean, that's a whole other thing.
Have you seen that or no? Do you know where to find it?
I haven't seen that, but I watched the Aaron Hernandez story and I was like, this is too much.
Yeah, I just feel like as a whole, I mean, we'll get to it towards the end too, but like Fessy is so all or nothing, and it's like he thinks he needs to be the best in his first rookie season, that like if he doesn't win the entire thing and isn't number one, that he's a failure. We're like, Bananas got eliminated in the first elimination in his first season, and then his second season he got eliminated like second or third. Like nobody starts out at the top. Like it's so rare for that to even happen, and most rookies that make it to the final are not going to actually win their first time. And it's just, you know, like it was weird because he's like proud, but you could also tell that he's like we just need to do it. Like, we need to be the winners. Otherwise, like, I'm an embarrassment.
Well, and I think that also he didn't really get the normal challenge experience, because usually they would be put into elimination like time and time and time again. And so he would have proven himself, if he still made it till then, as like a force to be reckoned with. And I think he would have a little bit more like, you know, esteem and like assuredness of himself if he had to do like 6 or 7 or 8 eliminations to be at that point. But he did one, where it's like, I mean, yes, he did a good job, but like he was going against somebody that had a physical handicap, and you know, he beat him, yeah, but he didn't have to prove himself over and over again. So I don't think he's built the confidence of being able to like make it in the final. Like, he doesn't know what he's getting himself into. He didn't have a traditional rookie experience. So I guess this is what we see when someone's super competitive that's not really getting treated normally as they would in the challenge, you know?
I 100% agree with that.
Totally.
I miss that. I miss the votes where they go, hey, you're a rookie, you gotta go in. And the rookies get all pissed off, and then there's a fight.
Like, now it was like opposite, but it didn't really work. But you know,
it was a strange time. It was a strange season.
It's a strange timeline. Of course, it's during 2020 that we're having this interesting timeline of the challenge. So 6:47, the alarm goes off. They're such dicks, eh? Like, and they were still up, right?
Yeah. Melissa was eating chips and drinking a Coke Zero, which is not a great start to the final.
Yeah, like, were they partying that night and then left?
It seems like it.
There's no way they would have done that. I'm sure they were sleeping and had like a there's no way, because if they hadn't slept and it was 6:45 in the morning and they had to start that whole day, there's no way.
Well, I think it looked like, because Rogan looked like he just woke up. Bailey looked like he just woke up. Or Bailey looked like she just woke up. There was like a couple of people that looked like they just had like woken up, and they were like, and Corey too, and they were just like, ugh.
So do you think it was like the next day?
It must have been the next day, because then like they would be like half cut.
Yeah,
which is like not ideal.
I mean, do they care?
Does MTV care?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
So we start getting the confessionals of Rogan wanting to prove why he deserves to be a 2-time champion of the challenge. And I just was like, I get it. Okay, you didn't go into any eliminations in your first, you gassed out your first one. So then the next one last season, you didn't go into any eliminations. And so you won, and people didn't think you deserved your win, whatever. So then you got to go and like manhandle Jay, and then manhandle whoever he beat next. I get it. He has a thing to prove, but like, can you just run the final like a normal person and not have to be like, oh, I'm going to show everybody that I'm like the best. It's just like, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it.
Well, I've never been feeling that. Like, that's not something you know what I mean? Like, he's whatever. And this whole like, I gotta prove myself vibe, and like, I'm so amazing. Like, just do it and be it.
Exactly. Everybody, like, when they're telling us how awesome that they are, I'm always like, what are you hiding? You're really shitty. And like, and with him, I don't know if it happens now or not, but he is throwing himself in. Yeah. And when that happens, it's kind of like, if he loses with more honor or something.
Yeah, and the truth was in the pudding with that, when they were like, oh, we were going to vote him in anyway. It's like, that happened twice in a row. The other time too, they were going to vote him in anyway. He's like, I volunteer. It's like, dude, you just don't want to be embarrassed by being voted in. And you think you're being like fierce and like strong. We see right through it.
I wonder if it's like production like pushing that character on him, or like, because I find when he like does like podcasts and like interviews after, like he's like funny and like smart and enjoyable to like watch and listen to. But if they are pushing that on him, it's a terrible persona. Really.
I don't like it at all. I definitely agree with you. I've listened to a few podcasts, and I've actually liked him. Been like, oh, I like him, you know, but when I
Yeah.
watched the show, I'm like, it's not the same. Were you shocked by Jenny having 9 or 8 siblings? One of 9? That's insane. And she's a twin?
I know, I had to double take that picture.
It was whoa. It was a lot to take
A lot of children.
Yeah.
I don't know. I grew up with one sibling. You have a few siblings, though, Michelle, no?
Yeah, I have 3 siblings. 3 sisters.
3 sisters?
Yeah, there's 4 of us.
Jeez, 1 is more than enough.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you're telling me. Yeah.
Are you the oldest, youngest?
What?
What'd you say?
I didn't hear what you said.
I just said I can relate to Jenny.
Oh, right. No, I said, are you the oldest?
No, I'm the second oldest.
Oh.
My older sister's only a year older than me, so.
Do you guys gang up on the younger two?
I mean, me and her used to get in fights, and then me and the other middle one, who's like 3 years younger, we hate each other. Yeah, I guess it was kind of 2 versus 2 sometimes. Honestly, like, no one was safe, really, growing up. Except for the littlest one, because she was still cute, you know? You know what I mean? Like, when they're that much younger, like, I'm not going to pick on them, but.
Did you guys look alike?
No, we all look very different. Yeah, I'm the tallest by far, so I got that. Woo!
You must love that. You're like, yes, I'm taller than all my siblings. That would be a good claim to fame in a family like that. So they announced that the first place men and the first place women are each going to win $500,000. That is some sweet effing change.
But I was really shocked by the whole, like, nothing for second or third. Like, I mean, I think I did like that decision in a way, because I was like, oh, it means everyone's going to fight. But I'm like, no, what it means is what ends up happening is the people who are too far behind give up because they don't even want to fight for second. Like, there's no chance of money for them. So they're like, I'm not as committed. Like, that's what ended up happening. And really, like, and that's why I think, like, yeah, I just wish they had given something to second place or third place.
Absolutely. I think that they should just do a little, maybe fourth place doesn't, and fourth and fifth place don't get any money, but like, just give them 25 grand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why can't the winners get, say, 300,000 and then the other 200,000?
They've done that in the past, or like they've split it up more, but who knows?
I like watching people work to finish. I don't like to watch people just like go whatever, like we have to get here because like the camera's here or whatever. Like I like to see people like really hustle to finish and also like be proud for their placing. Like I remember on was it War of the Worlds 1 when Turbo won and Wes got second? Yeah, Wes got second and Wes was kind of like sort of hemming and hawing and TJ was like, hey, like 50K, that's nothing to sneeze at, man. I'm like, that's like that's great.
Exactly.
I mean, I would climb that mountain for 50 grand USD.
Yes. That's like $1,000 for us.
That's so good. Like that's just a nice little like boom, there you go. And plus what you made for the whole season, you're probably getting like 1,500 US a week at least.
Yeah.
Like if you're a higher ticket sale, like maybe
and
more.
I think that like so what you kind of started to see, like you kind of just saw a shift when he announced that. Like in everyone, like they weren't really rearing to go. So that was one thing that wasn't great. And then I also just think about future seasons and I feel like it's gonna prevent people from, you know, being like, oh yeah, like I want to do the challenge.
I don't know. I think that
the same format again. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're gonna change it up. Honestly, I am not gonna put any stock in this because they've changed things so much season to season, and you know, and like I think about like from Cutthroat to this or that. Like I believe that they will change things and hopefully for the better. Yeah.
Well, I guess even, and also with like in the very like the early beginnings, people were like thrilled for getting 25 grand to win the final, or they're splitting 250 grand between 4 of them, like, and they were just like excited and thrilled. And now, like, you know, it's all or nothing. And I do think that it changes the dynamic and the effort of the players. And I think they have to change it up, because I don't think that the challenge works only being for the super athletes. I don't think that it benefits the show without having the underdogs want to feel like they have a chance at something. And so
absolutely, that's 110% right, because then you also, like, there's this thing where, like, a lot of people have been talking about this, but the challenge, you're right, it's not as fun if you're just watching super athletic people. You want to have people like Nani in there. You want to have people like Anissa in there. You want to have people like Jemmy in there, because it makes it, and Marie, because it makes it fun and interesting to watch. Like, you've got like all of this mix, but if you just have a season basically that's just like Jenny's and Fessie's, it's not that interesting at all.
Definitely.
Well, it's like America Ninja Warrior. Like, I don't watch that show. I mean, I can understand how people can be a fan of that.
For that reason, exactly. Because if you watched American Ninja Warrior, you'd get Ninja and Fessy, which is not interesting at all. Like, I love Fessy, but also, like, he's not that interesting.
Yeah, Fessy is just, like, kind of uninteresting, whereas Ninja is, like, the opposite of interesting. Like, it's like, I just, like, it actually, like, appalls me to have to, like, for a season.
Yeah.
I was like, getting like stills from different seasons, and like I just saw her and I was like, ugh.
Yeah. we all have ninja PTSD.
She'll be back though. She's coming back for sure.
Don't say that.
For sure.
Of course.
Because especially if they're going for these comp beastie people, like, you know, she has that.
She's not.
I'll be fine if they bring Ninja back, but they also bring like more OGs back. They've got to balance the scales. Because if they're just gonna bring like people like Ninja, like just like more new school people back, then I'm just gonna be like, ugh, this is gonna be. I'll still watch it, obviously, but it's still gonna be.
Yeah. This is a hot take, but it just popped into my head. Do you think that they changed the way that the money was going to break down when it was all newbies?
No, well, okay. What I think is, you know how I was reading on some challenge T pages that, like, initially when they filmed it, this season was supposed to be called the Battle for Independence, and then they changed it to Total Madness. And so part of me thinks that the whole theme of the season was supposed to be about, like, it's independent. Like, this is the first final in how long where no one ever has to work together for any little part of it that we saw at all. Like, no parts where there's partners or anything. And, like, I think he wanted it to be, like, independence, like, all or nothing, like, every man for themselves, truly, I think, and, like, don't help each other, like, it's about you kind of thing. So in that way, I don't think that necessarily that they could have, but I don't think so.
I hear you. I was like, like so many newbies, and just didn't want to maybe give the newbies any money or like that. Like, I don't know, because they do favor their OGs for sure. I think they do respect the fact that the OGs have made the show for them, and like when they come back, like it's good for their brand. And so I don't know, maybe they just didn't want to leave a bad taste in the OG's mouth because they have like these newbies winning $100,000 doing absolutely nothing or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that would have been like if Bailey or something.
Well, like Bailey, if Melissa won like $100,000 for getting to the like, people would be pissed.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I don't 100% disagree with that.
It's just I don't even know if I agree with that, but it just was a thought that popped up in my head. I don't know if it's the truth or an idea, but it's interesting. So, okay, what do you think about what the final that they're going to have to do? Like, what he's explained is like, okay, climbing over 9,000 feet of elevation and trekking over 12 miles. I'm like, that doesn't seem that bad. Like, I mean, it's bad, but like, I feel like they've done a lot worse to these people before. And when he just said that, I was like, meh.
I feel like it's, I mean, if they weren't acclimatized to that elevation, that's like crazy. It's insane. I've done a big hike before in Peru, and I was not acclimatized like it took me a few days to acclimatize, but you just like feel drunk for like a day. So if that was the case, then yes, that's crazy. But I feel like he was like making it seem like it was like really brutal because of the cold. But yeah, other than that,
the cold and like how deep the snow is, and if you're not like an avid skier and stuff, it's like it's very, very taxing to have to move around and like on skis like that, and that kind of slippery like deep snow, and being cold as well. They kept talking about how cold they were.
I wanted to know what the temperature was. Why didn't they show it to me? I wanted to know.
It was wasn't it minus 20 degrees, it said?
oof.
It said a degree at the beginning, I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
minus 20? Okay, minus 20 is cold.
it's cold, but we're also Canadian, so.
I mean, yeah, no, I could handle that cold though. That's not too crazy.
I
wouldn't have wanted to.
Would you rather do a final in heat, extreme heat, or extreme cold?
I think extreme cold.
Cold.
Because
you're hurting yourself, so if you're hot, like you can just pass out. I mean, you can pass out in both ways. Honestly, I don't want to do one either way. Personally.
And that's on Michelle not wanting to do a final.
Yeah.
Well, I think I would go cold because of the fact that if you can overheat, and like that is it's easier for you to overexert in heat and pass out and faint and gas out. And I think that yes, that's also possible if you're cold, but you also can keep yourself warm by moving. And I feel like I can play that head game better. It's like, okay, just 10 more steps, not like, oh, I'm going to pass out. So I think that I'd be able to mind control me into completing in the cold more than in the heat. I've done the Chief so many times, Fanta, and it's hell in the summer. I hated doing the Chief.
Oh, yeah?
In Vancouver, Michelle?
I'd prefer to do a final in the heat.
Really?
Thrive in the heat.
Have you done the Chief in the heat?
You know, I would love a final in like a nice brisk fall day. Like first week of October. Cute. Wear my jean jacket.
Jean jacket final.
Jean jacket final is like, that should be the name of your podcast. Jean jacket finals.
You stumbled upon an easy final if you see a bunch of people wearing jean jackets.
Yeah.
So the first checkpoint was they had to go back and forth. I'm not sure what that distance was. On skis with only 3 logs at a time to their little, I don't know, little area. What?
Their little cauldron.
Little cauldron, yes. Cauldron's a good word. Mini cauldron. And then go back and forth.
I feel like this one was like designed by our dads. Like, you have to go, like, we're going camping, you have to go get these logs, and you have to bring them back, like, while we're snowshoeing.
They weren't even snowshoeing, though. They had skis. Like, why wouldn't they give them friggin' snowshoes for this part?
It was way harder. I think it made it way harder with the skis.
Of course it did. And then at one point I saw Corey take off his skis and walking. Like, they didn't say anything, but do you think that was in the rules, or like?
I was wondering about that because I was like, it's way easier to carry them, but I guess it's more annoying because then you have to carry them as well as the logs. And they never specified, I guess. Part of me thought he was going to get docked for doing that.
And then everybody started doing it. So then I guess it was like, okay. Or they decided like, oh, this is actually too hard.
Maybe.
Who knows? I think this was another thing that just wasn't really fleshed out that well.
It's like, they didn't think about like, oh, maybe there's going to be a snowfall and it's going to be 6 feet of snow that they're going to have to ski through.
And Fessy was also saying that like the snow was like really soft.
It looked like fluffy snow.
So
that's not good ski snow at all. It's good snowshoeing snow because then you can just like crunch it down.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching another Instagram live, and TJ came on to Bananas, and he was saying that it was actually it was really, really cold, but there was also, I think it was a cameraman that fell during, I guess it was the part where they're all alone near the end, and he fell while he was filming them, and like he actually like he was like up to his head in snow, and like they had to like pull him out, like it was like very dangerous that moment. So Definitely not fully flushed out if someone's like close to losing their life. No bueno. So who wins first? It was Fessy that won that part first, correct?
Corey.
Oh, right. It was Corey because he's from the East Coast or somewhere, East Side.
Yeah, he was born and raised in snow, Chantele.
He's raised in snow.
I was like,
I mean, I don't know where he's from though. Where is he from? Michigan? No, that's the other two.
Give it a goog.
Boston. He's like a Boston guy. Ohio.
Ohio?
Yeah, no, Michigan, Grand Rapids.
Oh, he is from Michigan. I thought it was just. So maybe. Hold on. This is a little bit of a tinfoil hat here, but maybe him and Jenna had a little fling thing, and maybe that's why Zach was so mad because maybe when they're maybe she was still living in Michigan and having a fling with Corey because they're all in Michigan together. Maybe that's why he was pissed.
Well, we'll find out in the reunion, aka we won't actually find out, but they'll insinuate.
Oh my God.
Do you think he's gonna go to the actual reunion, Zach?
Well, it's all
I saw a preview.
Yeah, in the preview, he's there sitting.
He looks
pissed. Yeah, he looks so miserable.
In the preview, it's them asking, the host asked them, so Zach, what made you question your relationship with Jenna? What happened? What did you find out? And it's just she looks super uncomfortable and he's just looks pissed. So we'll see. I'm sure they won't admit anything true that we don't already know, but love
I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
I'm here for it. Definitely.
I feel as though it was a disservice to them people didn't know how to ski. It's not like swimming where it's that should be a life skill. I don't know if you should be able to ski to complete the final. What do you guys think about the skiing element?
How does it go? Pizza?
I mean, I skied from the age of 4, so I skied a lot. So to me, I was laughing at them being how is it this hard for you? But I agree with you. It's not a thing that everyone does, but nothing they had to, it was hard and strenuous. I just wish that it hadn't been so much of day one. All it was just this ski thing. That's pretty much all there was. And I'm there should have been other things involved. So even when there's been swimming, it's I don't like when it's too much. If you're going to swim and then do a biking portion and then do a puzzle portion, have the different abilities you need to be an all-around really good challenge competitor and be able to think on your feet, all those skills. Just doing this was just an endurance thing. And, it's as if day one of a final was just a long swim and Wes is there. So he's a more experienced swimmer and just wins. But there's nothing else involved.
Yeah.
You're carrying logs. Okay. I don't know.
I mean, I think it would be fun. Sorry, go ahead, Fanta.
The whole season they didn't eat gnarly stuff.
Aww.
Yeah, we wanted the stuff.
They're gonna eat frozen
whale blubber,
walrus ears, but they didn't do any of that. And again, I feel slighted.
Yeah, give us the weird random things.
It was very, very bare bones of a final, and I don't particularly like seeing people fall and look like they're hurting themselves. It's just
especially Melissa, knowing that she's
pregnant. I know. I wrote that down. Melissa falling while pregnant. Yikes.
God, that's uncomfortable.
Honestly, I laughed every time Bananas fell.
You know what? But he was at least having his doubts of being able to finish the final at that point. I guess it proved to be difficult in a way that it didn't translate very well on TV. It might have been really hard if you were there to complete, but watching it on TV, it just seemed like they were just bad at something and the final wasn't that hard. You know what I mean? Because I haven't skied that much, but I just don't think it would be that hard to figure out how to get down that mountain. You know what I mean?
Okay, I remember. Pizza, French fries. Pizza. You learned that on the Bunny Hill?
Yes.
So if you remember that, you would have been just fine in the final.
But it's still even common sense. You don't want to cross. I don't know. It's just straight. It's good. Stop.
Yeah,
Anyways.
pizza, French fries.
Maybe Michelle, maybe you need to get on that hill with your jean jacket on to show them how it's done.
Honestly, watching Rogan fail was also hilarious and just like so droll. Like he was doing too much of the pizza. Like, don't do the pizza. What you really want to do is this. You want to curve. You want to keep it in the French fry, and you want to do and that way you're not going to get stuck. You're not going to fall. But that being said, with that thick of snow, I'm sure I would have fallen too. Like
you would have figured it out, like the rhythm of it or something.
Yeah.
Slide, yes. So Bailey wants the money so she can have a wedding with Swaggy. How do you feel about everybody's reasonings to be going for this final? These voiceovers, meaningful.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really care about those things that much. For me, it's more about like who is going to just like give it their all the most. Like it doesn't make me want someone to have it more in these cases. Like especially Bailey, I'm like, Swaggy has so much money. You do not need the money for sure.
Apparently.
Like Bananas is just his reputation's on the line. Jenny probably doesn't actually need the money, but she wants like that validation that she thinks, you know, that she's a good player and all that. Casey is like, oh, my family. Like everyone, you know, a lot of people have people they want to, you know, spoil or pay back.
I don't care for the reasons either.
Yeah,
I don't care if somebody was like, I'm going to spend every single last cent at a strip club in Vegas, and then you like had like conversely you had Corey saying like he's doing it for his daughter. I'd be like, I don't care. I'm not rooting for you more. And like we said before, like these are not model citizens. Like we're not like watching this because like these people are so noble and like you want them to win and you bawl their eyes out at like their family visits like you do in Survivor. Like I just find it's just a weird narrative to me that they're like all of a sudden really pushing that, whereas they didn't before. Because yeah, I couldn't care less. And also with Bailey saying like they want to have a proper wedding ceremony. I don't know when they got married, but like you said, Michelle, like Swaggy talks about how much money he makes like every other social post.
Yeah.
So I'm just something's not adding up.
No,
but I totally
agree. Like I need the money. You know what I mean? Like give it to your fans.
Yeah, we'll root for you.
That'd be sick if they were like, listen.
But don't listen to this podcast.
Yeah, I'm crowdfunding those podcasts out there.
The ones that talk good about them.
I mean, we talk good about the goods, you know.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what we see. We're not just judging character, you know. It's just what we see on the screen.
Are you going in right now, like just in case this hypothetical situation comes to pass? No, I know we've been talking shit about Corey this entire time. Hypothetically, if you were to throw some change, we love you, Corey.
I was going to give the same Survivor comparison. Is that like in Survivor, you know, you'll have the firefighter doing it for his family and like people crying and people don't want the person with the sob story to get to the end because everybody's going to give them the money. I think that maybe an editor came from Survivor or a producer came over from Survivor and thinks that this is the way things should be. Like this is how the story we need to tell of these people. Because I agree with both of you. I don't care. I want the heart and the win. They can do whatever the F they want with the money, especially if they fund Realness with 3 S's.
Yeah.
And Michelle's jean jackets. What about for you, Fanta?
I just want these cool button-down shirts.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
A whole closet filled with these bad boys. I'll be in business.
You could probably make them. They just like get a t-shirt.
We have simple requests. You know?
I am not crafty.
We just need the simple things in life.
Oh, I kind of want to I want to do a crowdfunding thing. I would love to. I want to be on one of these shows. I want to win. I do want to win one of these. I do.
Right. You have our votes.
Oh, man. So Corey's first, Fessy is second. And Fessy also says that he doesn't think Corey is smart enough to start a fire, which is really funny. Calling out his boy, but I guess he really isn't the brightest. I know we think that, but we could assume that it's editing. But the fact that his like boy doesn't think that he's smart.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah,
it's an interesting alliance.
Were you surprised that Banana was third at that point?
Yeah, I was a little surprised. But I was also like, he's pacing himself and he knows to push at the right time because he's done enough of these.
Well, exactly. It's like it's better to be just right behind, in my opinion, than setting the pace. And so if he stays right behind, he doesn't have to keep on going faster. Like he just needs to catch up. And so, yeah, I think it would be a conservation of energy and just know exactly where your opponent is. And so then you can just pass them when they gas out,
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I don't know if I could even get there,
But this is the funny thing. So you have like Fessy really shooting forward, and it's funny because even Kyle says like Fessy's doing this because he's so egotistical, which I thought was really interesting because that kind of encompasses that whole thought. He's not really thinking, okay, I need to pace myself. He's just like, I gotta get this win and I'll do everything that I can, but he's never done a final. And that's why it's so interesting seeing like even up to this point in the final, it's such an equalizer, and you really, really see the inexperience kind of start to shine through with people who have not done a final before.
1,000%. Yeah.
So out of the women, Jenny came first, and then Casey was second. Rogan was the fourth male to show up. Bailey was the third female, and Melissa was the last one to start getting her fire going. I mean, that's pretty much the order that other than the men, but the women, that's kind of how we were ranking their abilities. So I wasn't surprised there at all. But Corey completes the entire checkpoint first, and then obviously then Jenny. And TJ was quite impressed with Corey there. I was like, okay, TJ's giving Corey some props.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to finish first.
No, me neither.
Why did I put a star there? Oh, because like another link that I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch it from there? Or did you watch it from MTV? No? Okay, because I'm wondering if there was, it seemed like there was a jump cut. And so I'm wondering if I missed a little content because I put a little star beside it. And it was at the point where Corey and Jenny are in the final tribunal of the season. But I felt like I maybe missed a little snippet. Was there anything around there that was interesting or?
Not that I remember. I just they said he made a speech. TJ made the speech about how they were award winners, and then he announces that they're going to be a tribunal, and kind of explains what's going to be happening with that. But I don't remember anything like else happening.
I think it was that. I don't remember TJ explaining the tribunal. I just remember them being like saying that, and then I was like, whoa, what? And it was just kind of like a cut.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys feel about there being a tribunal at this stage? I mean, we had a feeling it was going to happen, but
yeah, I mean, great. It adds like a certain element to it, but again, it just feels like something was just kind of like thrown in there.
And it was all kind of very anticlimactic. Like, it's like, okay, Melissa's like, I'm going to volunteer myself because I feel like garbage and I want to try to make it up. But she did that on purpose and waited so that she could then give up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So at that point, Melissa had found out that she was pregnant.
Really?
Yeah. So, at that point, she found out that she was pregnant.
At what point, though, before the final started?
I don't know if it was, I think it was like after that. But I think it was like in and around there. That's why she looked so rattled. She just looked like so rattled. And like especially so when she like volunteers herself. And then especially so when she forfeits. And then TJ was told by production,
don't make her feel bad.
Yeah, don't go in on her. But they wouldn't tell him why.
So do you think that she took like a pregnancy test?
But like in the middle of the final? That doesn't make sense. She must have known before.
Like I think like just before the final maybe.
And then maybe like she was falling so much and she was like, oh shit, like I got to be careful, and started realizing this is going to not be, I can't do this if this is, and then like after that part, she just like took her time and then was like, you know what? This is not worth the risk.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's what happened. She was probably just like, before the final, like, I feel like something's off. And then
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense because she seemed really rattled and it was like, I'm just so down on myself. And like, yeah, it was a strange thing. That does make sense.
Where'd you get that intel?
From TJ's Twitter.
Oh. Ooh. Real deal.
He retweeted somebody. Somebody was like, oh, you didn't go in on her like you always go in on quitters. And then he retweeted and said, this is why I didn't do that.
Wow. Okay, we'll take back any like, why is she there? I mean,
yeah, well, it's an interesting thing because like even in this episode when you're watching her, you're just like, you look so like a fish out of water. Like you look so rattled right now. And like, yes, like that was like a difficult like first leg to do, but also it was just like there was something else where you were like, there's something else going on here.
Absolutely. But before they went on this journey though, like where they were like before they got to the checkpoint where they had the tribunal, like they had to go on this trek, and I think that's where the camera person fell, and like they were helping each other out, and Johnny was kind of commenting on the fact that like, you know, they were bonding and like motivating each other. So how'd you feel about that moment?
I thought it was straight, like it was cute, like it was nice that they had that moment and they had to go on that treacherous looking terrifying thing, but I also felt like it was weird that they had to do this thing, but it wasn't part of the challenge. It didn't matter how quick or how efficiently they did it. They just all
had to decide who they're going to be putting in the tribunal during that trek.
Right. Yeah, but it was already so obvious what they were going to do. So
yeah, pretty obvious.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, it was
I thought it was, yeah, I also thought it was weird because it didn't really have anything. It was just like, okay, this is like adding to how hard it is. And then also I just thought it was like too soft for me. Like the bonding and like the journey. And I was like, ugh.
Cold-hearted Fanta.
It's not what I want.
No. I mean, it was okay. I just felt like it was filler, though. I would rather see them do a challenge. I would rather see them like be standing on overnight on a block of wood. Like,
could have cut part of that out and shown part of the checkpoints that they skipped, like the whole dagger thing. Like, there's parts of the challenge that they skipped. Like, they could have used those instead of us just watching them like travel back to the whatever
the tribunal spot. I don't know.
The lodge.
I was gonna say, yeah, like the lodge or whatever.
So we'll just get to it then. So Corey picks, so Rogan throws himself in because, you know, he's just he wants to prove himself, eye roll. And Corey, they decide that Corey's going to choose for the guys and Jenny's going to choose for the girls. And Corey chooses bananas, obviously. He kind of made it seem like he was going to choose Fessy, but there's no way that he was going to choose Fessy. And then Jenny chose Casey as being obviously her strongest competitor at that point. And so, yeah, they're going to have to do this tribunal or purgatory, basically. And they had to run in the snow and jump up and hit a bell. First 1 to 2 wins. And at that point, Melissa says no, so Casey just gets a win. Okay. Now, I with these circumstances, I'm just going to maybe pretend like they didn't happen because, like, I just... like what I was feeling in that moment, I was like, man, like there's so many people that would have been like fighting to be there. And so I really, like, I know that it's hard. And even with what's coming up next, like, I know that it's hard, but there's some people that would have fought through it to be there. And so it just really disappointed me in that moment that she was so easy. It was so easy for her to quit, but we realize now it's not, but you know.
The thing that really bothered me is that they just like gave Casey the win.
Yeah.
Like, that's what really bothered me the most. I just felt like it was kind of synonymous to the whole, like, Jay and, excuse me, Rogan thing. like that elimination, and I was just kind of like, whoa, hey.
At that point, when Melissa quit, had Bailey already quit because of her knee? That happens later. So they should have been like, okay, well, Bailey, you have to do it.
That's what I thought.
That's the other available person.
Like, just because you made that choice like 2 seconds ago, so there are other options.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really rubbed me the wrong way.
That's what I thought was going to happen too, is that they're going to put Bailey in. But I was just disappointed. I was like, the final, you want it to be people that want to win. I mean, I agree that maybe the fact that there was no second and third place prizes, that like the motivation to try to be first seems so impossible when you're seeing like what people have been accomplishing in front of you. So maybe they were defeated in that sense as well. But whatever, Casey gets the win and Bananas and Rogan go, and Bananas ends up winning twice. He taps it. So
this was another theory that some people were talking about, is that knowing that it was winner takes all, people were saying Rogan volunteered himself because he also looked pretty rattled too, if you like watch it back. But he volunteered himself specifically because he was like, man, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make this. As opposed to maybe what you were saying, Chantele, before, like he's just like doing it to be like really proud.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like he was giving up on himself.
Yeah, he just looked so rattled and like he just looked out of sorts. I think that was just like I think it was just a strong way, like in his mind, to go out instead of just quitting.
Yeah, and it gives him a chance to like go out swinging. It's like, oh, I'm bold and I'm brave.
Yeah.
I did it this time. Because his whole time, the last season, he was never brave enough to go into elimination. So now he's been like, oh, I'm going into elimination.
So do you think that he threw it and gave it to Johnny? Because
no, I don't think he threw it, but I just think that like he was like pretty done.
Like if anything, he was probably like, okay, well, if I could get out Bananas, that'd be pretty sweet, and it'd be epic of me that I did that, regardless of whether I win. And if I lose, at least I lose to Bananas at this point. I don't have to do day 2 and kill myself for not winning, you know?
Exactly. But I also have to say, I liked this elimination. I thought it was unfortunate that they just like kind of stuck it in the very end. But I'm like, I think that was a good elimination. I think that type of elimination is better than like the sandbags one.
Yeah.
For example. Like,
yeah. No, it was fine. Like, I wasn't like, wow, like, you know, nobody's winning an Emmy for that one, but like, it was okay. It was fine. So what I didn't see coming was the fact that only the people from the tribunal and the winners of that purgatory were going to be staying indoors. And the MTV like are such trolls with having them like outside the window where Jenny's too hot to be wearing anything and just is like in a sports bra while these guys are freezing outside. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a classic challenge thing, but normally they make everyone like be outside but then take shifts to kind of sleep or whatever. And I don't know, I thought it was a little bit lame that like Casey won her tribunal, so she got to be inside, and like because these people had better social alliances and didn't get picked, they're at a disadvantage now. Like I thought that was super shady and like frustrating, but also like I wasn't rooting for Kyle or Fessy to win, you know, so I wasn't like, oh no, but I was also like, they're gonna be at such a disadvantage, like there's no way that they're gonna have the energy.
Well, I mean, that's another thing I think we've talked about before, is like I wish the players knew all the rules of the game in advance, because they might have chosen something different, you know, like if they knew that Bananas was going to be more so at a different disadvantage if he doesn't go in, then Fessy, like he said, would have gone in and taken out Rogan himself, and he would have been sleeping indoors. And so I know they like surprise twist, you know, they love that. They love everybody not having any idea what's going to be going on later on in the game. But strategic. They want strategy. They want these epic moments to happen, and they happen when people know the rules of the game that they're playing. And so maybe they'll learn for next time is like, if this is part of the twist, like let them know so they can be strategizing accordingly, in my opinion.
Yeah. And again, I think, I think it was very funny that Kyle wouldn't shut up.
Yeah,
I love that moment. He's like,
so good. Like,
silent. And Fessy's like, no, stop.
That was a highlight of this final.
It was a highlight for sure. They had to stay out there for 6 hours before they were allowed in. Now, actually, Bailey, though, she did her quit when she learned that she was going to have to be staying outside for that whole time. So this is when she does her quit.
Yes. It's now, once she finds that out.
Pardon me?
Once she found out she had to be outside.
Yeah. So, of course, if she tore MCL, ACL, whatever, like that's a really painful injury. Absolutely. But I'm just like, it just so happens that like these newbies all have a really valid reason not to get to the end. And it's so frustrating. Obviously don't want anybody to get hurt, but I don't know. It's just typical.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, we can say whatever we want to say, but it's interesting that Corey said that Corey was like, she just decided that she didn't want to do it as soon as she found out that she was going to have to be outside. So he would obviously have better insight of like what's going on than we do. So we're taking it off of his cue, right?
For sure.
So, but yeah, that's again, like what I said earlier, it comes down to that inexperience and like them just really not knowing what a final is going to entail.
Yeah.
And comparatively to like all of the other finals, like this one isn't like as brutal as like a lot of ones in the past. So hopefully they'll just bring back more OGs. Who knows?
Hope so. Well, did we talk about this? But the rumor that they're going to do, I don't know if it's an all-star, but Mark Long wants to get together like a bunch of people, OGs, and have like an OG season of the challenge. And so I guess the speculation is that it might happen because everybody's already in the States and they don't have to fly anybody in. They can do it now kind of within the United States. And so have you heard that, Fanta?
Yes, I've got the list in front of me.
Give me the list! Oh my God, don't even get me that excited, Fanta. It's not Christmas.
I knew we were going to talk about this, so this is very important. Okay, so ladies, this is all confirmed.
Wait. So it's happening, or people that said yes?
People that said yes. Okay. So Ireland from the original season of Vegas, Real World. Melinda from, was it Austin?
Used to be with that guy.
Danny and Melinda. Jamie, I don't know who Jamie is.
Asian girl?
Oh yeah, Jamie Chung, which is a fun one. Tina,
yeah.
Like
Tina, the original Camilla, like fights,
short black hair.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes, I remember her now.
Is she lesbian? No, sorry, that's sorry, Rachel. Sorry, mixing two people up.
Cameron. That is Coral.
Yes.
Oh!
Katie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trishelle.
Of course.
God, I got goosebumps.
Love Trisha.
Beth, yep. Paula
Walnuts?
Wow.
Evelyn.
Wait, no, I don't believe Evelyn. Really?
Yeah.
Evelyn's like a lawyer and like has like a like family, doesn't she?
Yes. Well, I heard it's only going to be 2 weeks. That's what Mark wants to do.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a
real
challenge. It'll just be 2 weeks.
Whatever.
Evelyn, Arissa, Kendall, Ruthie.
Wait, who's Kendall? Kendall.
Kendall is.
I don't know who that is, but Ruthie. I remember Ruthie.
She's an identical twin. I love people with twins.
Veronica, Susie, and Emily.
Emily Schramm?
Wow.
which will be fun. And I was kind of annoyed because apparently Emily was waiting she was going to do another season, and she was waiting for like a non-team season, but she didn't do the season. Just annoying. And then, okay, for the men, Norman, I don't know who that is, John, Dan, Brad,
okay.
Timmy, Abram, Kohara, MJ, Ace, Nehemiah, Landon, Darrell, Jamie M, Cyrus, Eric N.
Cyrus!
Guys from like season 1 of The Real World?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Landon?
I know Landon would be... I remember reading like Landon stopped doing it because they weren't like... They wouldn't up the rate, but he would still be doing it if they paid him more. So, yeah. There's a bigger thread here that I missed. Apparently there's more. Okay, so I guess this is like who he's contacted.
Yes, and who's been like, I'm interested. But
I know that Jamie Chung for sure said yes, and so did Coral.
Yep, I've seen messages from Coral. I've seen messages from like a couple of them.
Fun.
List. It just Trishelle, that just makes me laugh. Because she's like been trolling Bananas online. Not like trolling him, but she's been like saying shit. Yeah, so
that's exciting.
I'm here for that. Like, I love the OG players. I want to see what they're gonna do without having like if it's just gonna be a short season or whatnot. Like, is it just gonna be Mark doing it, or do you think he's gonna have MTV be able to?
I think it's not that Mark was like, hello MTV, these are all the people that want to do it, and like anyone who's a challenge fan is obviously going to want to watch that. So MTV would be stupid not to do it.
And like, if in 2 weeks you can make a lot of content, like I run a Big Brother weekend and we still have like our 30 different challenges over that weekend. Do you know what I mean? Like, it starts at 12 people. And so you can, if you do like 2 or maybe even 3 challenges a day, you could have a full 13 episode season in 2 weeks. You just might not have that many pool scenes.
But it's not going to be like a hot, horny pool energy with all the OGs because they're like all married and stuff.
You never know, but there might be like, oh my God, like I remember how much I used to love you.
Old flames.
Past.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm here for that for sure. Any day at all. What else happened? Yeah, Kyle won't shut up. After 6 hours, they're allowed to go in. And then this is what I wrote. I'm like, I want some damn puzzles. I want some areas where experience means something. You know, there's just kind of like, I don't know.
It was an endurance final. It was a physical, but not even like a super strenuous, just more of like an endurance and breathing with 1 math problem and 0 puzzles. And it just felt like they were just trudging through the snow. And yeah, I understand it's very difficult and I couldn't do that. But like a challenge is supposed to be like different types of stuff.
Yeah, because it's an equalizer.
Exactly. There was no equalizer. There was no puzzle for Fessy to own at and Corey and Kyle to completely fail at forever, or like Johnny to have trouble with a puzzle because he's not good at puzzles. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I was underwhelmed. So the next morning they leave with 1 minute head starts according to how they placed. So Jenny and Corey had a minute head start onto Casey and Bananas, who had a minute head start onto, I guess, the 2 boys, because the 2 girls are gone. 3 boys?
2 boys. Kyle.
One went home. Morgan went home, right.
And Fessy.
So this is where they have to solve this equation. They didn't even show us what the frickin' equation was. Like, why couldn't they show me the equation? All we got was 36 divided by 9 or 4, which I don't remember which one it was, but it was like, That's it. That's all he showed us.
I know.
Why?
I just feel like for the last few episodes, they just threw the baby out with the bathwater for this season. Like, whatever. Who cares?
People are going to watch no matter what. Basically. They're taking for granted that we're so loyal.
Yeah.
Fessy got the equation pretty quickly. Bananas actually got it. And he starts bringing up the Jemmy curse. Now, we know about this Jemmy curse. What were you feeling about it right at this point? Like, were you feeling as though he was going to win? Did you feel as though the curse was going to remain? Like, how are you feeling?
I felt like with the editing, it was like gearing it up for the curse to be broken.
1,000,000%. It was so obvious, I felt. Like,
So
the way they set it up, it wouldn't have been, there was no other way for it to, the way that it was going. And not even just who was doing better, because he wasn't always doing better, but the way that it was being edited and what he was saying in his confessionals and like
And the fact that there was no activities for them to do for anybody to take over the lead. Like if you were ahead, you were ahead. You just had to keep going. Yeah. And in the final, Johnny knows, just keep going. I just need to get there. He's not gonna be stopping for take a breath, like he's gonna go to get there. But if he has to stop, like you're saying, to do a puzzle or blah blah blah, like he has to stop and do that, and that gives people the chance to overtake him. And so, yeah, you're right. There was no opportunity for anybody to overtake him once he left that checkpoint. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess he did pass Fessy at some point. No.
Well, yeah, because Fessy was first after the math problem. Again, like Fessy
just stopped, right? He gassed out because
started gassing out and like getting slower and slower, and slowly all of them passed him. Like all the guys passed him, and obviously Jenny was ahead. Yeah, so he lost it, but we kind of predicted that was going to happen because day one he was in the lead and he gassed out, and he's a larger person, and so it must be hard at that elevation. Yeah. And when you're pushing yourself and you're not like taking your time enough with it, like Kyle getting ahead of him was mind blowing. I was like, Kyle, he really went for it. I was really, the person I was most proud of was Kyle, honestly, this whole final.
Yeah, he was a little engine that could.
He's not an athlete, and he did the entire thing, and he didn't give up. And he did better than Corey. Like,
you know what, though? I think that they made a good decision because I don't think Nelson, because he can't seem to take the cold very well.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have been able to make it to the end. So Corey doing it, I think, had the better chance between the two of them as for finishing.
Oh, for sure.
Because, I don't think Nelson would have been able to stand the cold.
Yeah, his balls would have.
Stop it. I don't want to think about his balls. I want to. Corey had troubles with the puzzle. Eventually, Kyle passes him, which was shocking. Casey timed out. How long do you think was the timeout? Like, how long did you have to spend on it, you think?
Half an hour?
Yeah, I'd say probably 30 minutes. Cause she went first and then like started plugging things in, and then back. And then she had to go back. So minimum half hour for sure. I felt so bad for her.
Well, at that point, I
so
would
close too.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would. I'm just saying this obviously because I'm watching behind my TV screen. But like, I feel like I would have tried like 10s, you know what I mean? Because like when she did like 16 or 22 or no, it was 36 was the answer, and she did 26. And I feel as though like being off by 10, like I would probably fiddle around with the last two digits, I would think, while I was there, and just like try, like it's not that many combinations, you know?
Says Little Miss
like
Math.
No, but do like 36, 46, 56, 76, 86, 96.
But I wouldn't think that. I would think 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Like I wouldn't think to do it in 10s like that.
No, I would have probably done both, but like it would be usually would be the final two digits that you would be off by, right? Like I don't think you'd be off by hundreds. I mean, I don't know what the question was, but I just feel like you wouldn't be off by hundreds. It
was 36 divided by 4 times 8 plus 244.
Did they actually show that and I just didn't notice? Are you making it
Yeah,
up?
they were on like the big signs in red. So, but like, oh, it was just so tragic, like watching them like try to write the equations down in snow. I was like, that's horrible.
Not the most fun for sure. So she times out. That sucks. I felt bad because she had no chance at that point. Jenny was, unless Jenny passed out, like she was so far behind her that, you know, Jenny she was practicing though, like on her off season, she was practicing her puzzles, she was practicing her math equations, and obviously staying in really great shape. She came back to win the final, and she was rewarded with $500,000 for doing just a little bit of math equations, like just a little bit. I don't think she had to work that hard.
Just a little.
No.
Like she got an easy $500,000, I think.
Oh, for sure. This is like, I mean, I don't want to say completely, but I'm like, it's getting close to like Millionaire Mitchell territory. This final was.
It's Millionaire Mitchell.
Ashley.
Oh, Mitchell, that Mitchell. I was thinking of a boy. I'm like, who the frick is that? Ashley Mitchell, yeah. Ugh. That was another easy as F challenge that she won.
Yeah,
so,
but, I mean, I stand her, so.
I mean, I still, yeah. I love Jenny.
That challenge was terrible, yes, absolutely.
I love Ashley, but also, yeah, that was like, Jenny was going against very easy girls. Not easy girls. I retract that statement. I would say just people who've like given up.
100%. And I wrote down, I was like, it's so annoying that Anissa didn't get a chance because it was all like every man for themselves. Like she would, I don't know if she would have beat Jenny, but she would at least have completed it. She would have finished.
She wouldn't have quit. That's the thing that's so frustrating about that, right? She wouldn't have quit like Bailey and Melissa did. And that's so frustrating to see people get to the final. And
Nani has never given up in a final.
Yeah.
And I think that if she was able to go do it and complete it, even if she didn't win the money, she would have changed the narrative about her, that she's not this layupper that's going to be dragging her back. Like she was able to finish the final, and she would be able to say like, I completed that final, and like I was able to do that. So people couldn't say that shit about her anymore, and they still can now because they got her out before she got to prove herself that she would at least be able to complete it. So I was annoyed that she didn't get that opportunity just to change the narrative and the way that people see her in these challenges. And like, I don't know if she's going to come back. She's like actually getting old now.
Who, Anissa or Nani?
Anissa.
Well, I don't know. I guess like Anissa kind of like made it seem like she like was not saying goodbye forever. I don't think any of them want to, I don't think any of them want to say goodbye forever. I think they'll just need to know that they're not going to be in like sub-zero temps in Prague again.
They're going to go back somewhere tropical next time. They have to. I miss it. So then, yeah, we know that Bananas, he finishes first as well. And so he is a 7-time champion of the challenge.
And can we just take a moment of like how it was so built up and how much like storyline he gets of he wins and he cries and this has been such a part of his life and all this stuff, which, okay, fair, great. But Jenny beat him. Jenny didn't just win first out of female. She beat every single person. She was the number one winner. She was the number one. Like when Rachel won the duel, she was the number one winner female. And that should have been more epic. That is more epic, in my opinion, than Bananas getting second.
Yes. I love you framing it that way. Yeah, Bananas got second.
He did not get first place. He didn't.
But now, just to be on the devil's advocate argument's sake, with him knowing that he's not competing against another woman, like he's only competing against the men, do you think that maybe that stopped his drive from going to be first? Like if you don't?
No.
You just think he was
I don't think if it was like
going as fast
him versus Jenny.
Yeah. Like,
Jenny
Kyle was so close behind him, and Corey was really close too, and he was like, fuck, like, I need to go as fast as I can. And if he's thinking, oh, I'm not competing against her, and he's not playing to do as best as he can in the last leg of the challenge, like, that's not real. There's no way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Could not beat her. He wasn't as fast as her. He wasn't as quick with the math as her. Like, that's case in point. I don't even love Jenny at all, but she won the whole thing. And why was that just left in the dust? It's like, oh, yay, she won. Okay, blah, blah. Bananas. He got his 7th thing. He broke the curse. He did all this amazing stuff. It's like, great. But a woman did better than him.
Yeah.
Besides this, can we just like celebrate this?
I was so impressed with Jenny. And, like, I'm with you, Michelle. Let's celebrate this.
Yes. Jenny won Total Madness.
She won the whole thing.
She won the whole thing.
Well, kind of like how Turbo won his whole thing as well. Yeah. Like, he got 2nd place, but he still got a $500,000 price tag.
And I just think, like, at the end of this episode, it's really just a thing where you're like, wow, the producers were just really driving this to be like Johnny's like legacy season, but they were driving it so much to the point that it was just so contrived, and it just doesn't really feel that way. And yes, like, he is like, I'm not taking away from his win, like, he definitely won, but there are certain things that just kind of make you wonder, or as Chantele would say, like, tinfoil hat, like, is there something where like they were like, okay, you quit right now and we'll give you $10,000, or like, we have to make this be Johnny's season, or like, who knows, whatever, maybe that's too crazy of a theory, but I definitely think like they were pushing so hard to make this Johnny's legacy season when it just wasn't even really framed that way to begin with, that it just kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this was producer based, but I believe it was somebody in one of our comments said that Melissa might have assisted him in that bowling thing, that she might have, like, she was stable and sturdy, and then all of a sudden she fell off and the barrels fell. And so seemingly, you know, he might have got a little bit of assistance there. That might have just been within his alliance, though, not with like producers. And in his lives, he's been saying that a lot of people have been saying what we're kind of debating right now, that, you know, he's getting help from the producers, and he's like, absolutely not. Like, why would they bother helping me? Like, I'm whatever, just saying, basically trying to debunk that. And that there's no real incentive for them to make him be this winner. Like, why would they want to do that? So why would they want to do that? I
mean, he is the golden child, and like, maybe.
Why would they not want to do that? Like,
maybe it's also just a thing where he was like saying in the beginning of this season, maybe he was like, hey, listen, like, I might want this to be like my last season. And they're like, obviously, like, if that's a thing, like the video that you sent me where they, like, the producers asked him, like, hey, is this going to be like your last season? Then they would want to do like a properly edited send-off.
Or make him feel good enough that he'll come back.
Yeah.
He's so rich, though. I'm so jealous about how much money he's made off of the challenge. Like, I know it's hard work in a different way than I understand, but like, I wouldn't mind having that route to a millionaire. That's kind of fun. Yeah. Playing games for $1 million? Yeah, let's do it. Maybe I should make one.
We should make
I've been thinking about games. Pardon?
Make a game?
Well, like one of these competitive reality shows. I feel like, you know, take all the things that I've loved about all these reality shows from the beginning and go back to like the roots of all of them. Like, without all these, I've been talking about a lot lately, all these trinkets and doodads and idols and nullifiers, like all these special powers. Like, I don't really like these chancy things. I like strategy, and if we're gonna have like a competitive, like, physical element to it, like, just more clean, structured game, but, you know, a lot about strategy. I haven't thought of exactly what it is yet, but I've been wanting to create something that's more along those lines. I also just watched Spy Games as well, and it's like, oh. Have you watched it?
No.
No.
I think it's on Crave. It was on Netflix, and then I think I watched it on Crave. But it wasn't great, but it was a great concept. Like it had like former spies, and they were teaching people how to be spies, and like then they'd have like spy challenges, and the people that sucked would be they'd be ejected. I don't know. It's pretty good. Anything else I'm going to say about the actual episodes?
No, I'm excited about the finale because just based on the preview, I feel like everyone, because they're in the safety of their own home, like I think we're going to see more of the tension in a way, like in a very passive aggressive kind of like kind of way, or like maybe they're more bold because they're not in the same space or whatever. So I'm excited for the reunion. I like normally hate watching them, but I'm craving that drama. So I'm pumped about it, and I'm pumped for the shit they should have shown. And yeah, all around the
Dee's going to be at the reunion?
Sorry?
I said, do you think Dee's going to be at the reunion? But I guess not.
No. It says in the thing that she won't be at the reunion, that opening credits thing. Sure. So yeah, for sure they wouldn't have invited her in that. But yeah, I'm excited for it. And like, while the finale wasn't everything I wanted it to be, I still had a lot of enjoyment of the season. Like there was still some great things and some very frustrating things as always, which is what we love about it. And it was still, you know, I think the right people did win out of that final. I just like wish it had been a little bit more epic.
Absolutely.
And more twists and turns in terms of like things they actually had to accomplish along the road. You know, I just wish, you know, it hadn't been so like, oh, and he's just there. But it was a good time, and it was nice to document it in this way because now I'm excited for the future seasons.
It's true. It's true. I do wish that, like, I felt like I was watching the Eco Challenge. Did you ever watch that back in the day? It was like an Eco Challenge is basically taking athletes that trained to do the Eco Challenge, and they just, these long, treacherous treks through, like, they're swimming a few miles, and then they're going through mud in the rainforest, and then like they end up on an ice cap. Like, it's just like the longest, like, so enduring, physically enduring challenges. And they'd have teams of people that would be doing this, and like one was like the Playboy Bunny team that would be just doing the Eco Challenge, and like it was epic. Like I watched it, and like obviously you can tell stories of like these groups of people that are doing this for whatever reason, this and that, just to complete it, blah blah blah. But it was, I didn't want to see that in the challenge. It wasn't a challenge type thing. I love the Eco Challenge for being the Eco Challenge. I want the challenge to be the freaking challenge. So give me that damn puzzle. But I still obviously loved it. I also loved, do you have like maybe our points spread, or remember, so when we got to what we said after the purge. So we'll just start with this episode. So we have 9 players in this episode. Do you want me to start with the people that I still had left in the game from our draft pick, or the ones that you still have left in the game? Well, we'll start with you. So, Michelle, we did a draft at the beginning of the season. I think you know about this. And we put some, I wasn't even going to put some money on the line, but Fanta wanted to put some money on the line. I don't know exactly what our terms were, but it's at least $100 is going to be coming my way. And so we were going to get, I think it was $5 for whoever we had at the purge, and then $50 per person, that the winners. So at the beginning of this episode, Fanta has Casey. Fanta has Fessy.
$5, right? That's $10.
But Chantele has Jenny, Melissa, Bailey, Johnny Bananas, Kyle, Corey, and Rogan.
So you literally just had everybody.
I literally had everybody, yes.
Cool.
All I can say is that I wish I picked differently.
Well, you were trolling me at the beginning, being like, why would you go for them? I'm like, well, she's always going to be working so hard. Like, she always comes back with a vengeance. And I'm like, and Bananas wants to win it so badly. So.
Yeah, I had a lot of hubris, I will admit. But, I mean, there were some upsets. Like, Jordan was an upset. CT was an upset. Tori was an upset. in my eyes.
He was an upset.
He was kind of an upset. And I think if all if all of that drama didn't happen in the house, like I think Dee kind of like gave up. Like watching that elimination with her and Jenny, like you could see she just kind of like was like whatever. So sorry, how much money do I owe you?
I mean, do you want to just make it the even 50-50 for those two people? That's fine.
Ouch. I knew halfway though, I was like, I'm losing.
Whatever you feel comfortable giving, Fanta.
I'll pay up. I'm a woman of my word. You will get an Interact transfer of $100 Canadian.
Canadian? These are American. I'm kidding.
USD? Oh.
That
what are you gonna buy with that hundo?
I'm gonna pay my hydro bill. Like
okay, I guess
cover it.
That ring light.
I mean, I already have my ring light,
but it puts up your hydro.
Oh, fair. But no, I'm equalized. But I just haven't paid since quarantine. So it's hard to juggle like this is government money, you know? Anyways, well, I'm glad that I ended up on top. I've been doing poorly in my draft picks in other shows lately. I'm usually pretty good, but I was terrible for Big Brother Canada 8. All my people were going or quitting or being evicted. I was like, oh my God, or being expelled. I was like, what's happening here? Like, and my first person on Drag Race Canada, my first pick is already out. I'm like, oh my God. And then for Drag Race, regular Drag Race All-Stars, I have 2 people left, but I don't think that either of them are going to win. And there's only 4 people left. I think they're both going to lose. And I'm like,
Drags are hard.
So
hard to know.
So have you guys put any thought into what you want to cover next? Because I want to, I think, go early. I think I want to go into like the teens.
Sure. I'm down for anything.
Teens. I'm just looking now.
I mean, there's tons of great ones, obviously, but like, what about the one where they're on the boat? Was that a good one? Like, I just remember that boat with like Veronica on a boat. I might want one with like Wes and Johanna, like, or like before, or maybe the first one where CT and DM meet. Maybe we should just start there.
That's the first duel. First or second duel. One of them.
I think it's duel 2.
Duel 2. You're right.
I mean, I don't mind duel 2, but that's like, what, only 10 years ago or so?
Yeah.
Only 10 years ago. Isn't it more?
No, it's more. It's more because I watched it in high school.
I could deal with the duel 2. That'd be a nice one to start with, like remembering DM and like, I remember like I cried in that episode. Like it was just so touching.
Man, I really just want the challenge producers to go back to basics with a little twist, maybe.
This little one.
You know what I mean?
We'll take one and do those again and like just do what works.
Dee has been unverified on Twitter.
Like it was removed? Like she was verified before?
I think so. How could she have not been verified? And Jenny West is not verified. Weird.
I mean, she might be verified now. But she wasn't really famous before. Wait, you're verified, aren't you, Fanta?
No, those things aren't that hard to get.
Fanta with that blue check.
Nobody's got a verified check.
Are you verified on Instagram as well?
No, that one's a hard one to get, I think.
What about Twitter? Not Twitter, but TikTok.
I don't TikTok anymore.
Because of China's stealing our information?
No, because I told myself once like our quarantine is over, I'm deleting TikTok. I was like, this is like a quarantine only activity for me because at one point it would be 7 p.m. and then all of a sudden it was 11 p.m. And I just did not like losing time like that.
Have you gone down the TikTok rabbit hole, Michelle?
No. Dad told me that not to, that they steal your information more than any other app. And honestly, I don't need to feel old. Like, I don't need to go on an app and feel like I don't know what's up. I already struggle enough with Instagram, and I'm already on Instagram too much. So I really gotta like.
Do you know what's really funny though? Like about you saying that like it would make me feel like I'm too old. My best friend's little brother, he's 13, and he saw that she was on TikTok, and he was like, "Oh my God, you use that? Like that is so old. Like nobody uses TikTok anymore." And she was just like, "Oh."
What do people use?
We would, as soon as we know, then it can't be used anymore. As soon as like millennials and elder millennials get their hands on something, then all of the like young ones scurry off of it.
For sure. For sure, even though we invented all of them.
Yeah.
In the beginning. I was there before. I was around when there was dial-up, yo.
Yeah, same. And also, I miss MySpace.
Give me Friendster, yo.
Give me Friendster.
This is awesome. You could put a song on your profile. Top 8 friends.
Top 8. Yo, stakes were high for that.
It was definitely the roots and the beginning of all this, and we need to own that. It was ours. If it wasn't for us, none of this crap would have been created, for sure. Well, ladies, this is really sad, but we're still gonna talk about the reunion shows, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Because, like, you know, I might have withdrawal.
I know, this is like in my routine.
It's totally in my routine, and I want to.
Or is it one part? The reunion.
One part.
One part or what part?
One part.
It's one part.
Oh, I thought I saw it two. Oh, maybe one is the what we didn't see. Okay. Cool. Well, thanks, guys, for hanging out for this entire season with us. We appreciate all your comments and interacting and chatting with us and giving us new perspectives and putting us in our place when we were out of line or telling the truth. But thank you so much. We will be back next week to give you a little update on what is going on with their reunion. And thank you with all of you that actually tuned in live when I uploaded this. So I'm going to upload this again. Well, when it happens, it's going to be live, so you'll see it at that time. But we will be around after, just if you want to send a message, you'll get some immediate commenting back. Otherwise, it's going to be up live when you see it, which is tomorrow, which is today, when you're seeing it. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, subscribe right down below. Please hit the like button. It helps us get to be seen by all you lovely people. Ring that bell so you can be notified when we have a new episode in your mailbox. And other than that, thanks for the great season. So sad.